Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
A quick thank you to our friend Jeff Stein, who continues to support our program, who retweets and shares our shows every chance he gets, and we greatly appreciate that. I hope he'll do the same for this hour of Bob Bailey. We start off with a full hour of his shows, and we start off with the West Coast program that aired periodically in New York City, but not very often. This is an episode of Let George Do It, Bob Bailey, Virginia-Gregg starring. This episode originally broadcast on August 13th, 1951, and this episode's entitled The Fearless Clown.
Personal notice, danger's my stock and trade. If the job's too tough for you to handle, you got a job for me, George Valentine. Write full details.
Say, did you ever hear of a fearless clown? Well, just in case you haven't, that's the title of our Let George Do It adventure. Now, you're probably wondering what a clown has to fear in the first place, unless maybe it's a nasty elephant. And in the second place, how would you know when he's behind a couple of inches of grease paint? Well, all I know is that a very nervous girl is most concerned about a certain clown, and she's telling George Valentine all about it.
Dear Mr. Valentine, I'm sure you've heard of Fofo, the fearless clown. Maybe you've already seen his circus before, but it's here in town, opening tonight with an all-new show. And if he's ever scared you with a snake or made you laugh with his crazy tumbling, and I'll bet like everybody else you must have thought he's a wonderful person. But I know that he's not. In fact, if Fofo should happen to die, I am the person who killed him. What I mean is, Mr. Valentine, I've already practically confessed to his murder. And it's your job to keep the most horrible man in the world alive. Sincerely, Relita. P.S. I'm the girl in the strawberry-colored tights.
Hey, there she is, riding the lead elephant.
How could you miss her?
Oh, you spotted her before, this Relita?
The tights, darling. Or didn't you notice them? Foolish question.
Opening parade. She said we could catch her after the performance.
That's a good idea. It'd take a stepladder to get down off that elephant any other way, wouldn't it?
Brooksy, I'll tell you a secret. You don't get down off an elephant. You get it off a duck.
Oh, George. George!
Oh, no, take it easy, Angel. That's the star of the piece, that's all. Fofo himself. You know, he's about the only performer who's ever worked up to owning his own circus. Must be quite a guy.
George, he's got a snake. It came right out of his suitcase.
Sure. It's a good act to lead the parade with.
But look at it. George, it's a cobra. Oh.
Take it easy. Putty nose and the clown rig is what makes it look so exciting.
He's jumping rope with it.
Brooksy, I'll tell you something. The fearless little man with his snakes. Hey, look, he's turning somersaults now in front of the elephant.
But he's the man you're supposed to keep alive.
Don't worry, I told you. For your information, there's not one snake in this circus that doesn't eat with false teeth.
What?
Yeah, sure. It just looks dangerous, that's all. That guy's not crazy. All his snakes are a fraud. Maybe he is too, I don't know.
Well, I should have known, but...
Hey, the elephant. Relita's elephant. He's charging.
But Fofo's turning somersaults right in front of him. Oh, George!
Come on, get through the crowd. That job of mine sure ended in a hurry.
That elephant just went crazy.
Fofo didn't even see him coming.
You didn't even have a chance to keep him alive.
Brooksy, what I want to find out was in the first part of Relita's letter. Maybe it was the elephant who trampled him, but remember? She said, if Fofo should happen to die, I'm the person who killed him.
George?
Usual. Doctor says he's still alive. They got him into the ambulance as fast as possible. He's on his way to the hospital right now.
Mr. Valentine, it was an accident, wasn't it? Well,
George, you saw it yourself.
that elephant just went crazy or something, didn't you see? He charged straight ahead. If Fofo hadn't been so close to him.
Sure, I saw it all right. Relita, I think you'd better tell me about yourself in a hurry.
Yes, of course. Well, it's really quite simple. I'm new with the circus. I do a little acrobatic dancing. I used to be with an act in nightclubs. Well, it's rather hard to say this. I'm married, you see, and Mr. Valentine, Fofo's death was an accident. That's all it could have been.
Relita, we do need to know your story, but maybe not all of it.
Well, it's Fofo is very attractive and charming, and well, anyway, he saw me act, and I met him. He wanted me to come with his circus. Now I have to stay with his circus.
What do you mean?
I think he must have enjoyed being in danger. I got mixed up with him. What do you think I mean?
Okay. Emotional blackmail. Does that make it simpler for you?
I wrote exactly why I was going to kill him, and well, don't look like that. I didn't give him the letter or go out and buy a gun. In fact, I just tore it up. Or no, what I mean is I put it in my wastebasket. I'd worked up my steam, I guess. Anyway, I wrote everything to my husband instead, and I mailed that, and he understands.
Well, why were you so frightened? Why did you want me?
After the show that night, I came back to my dressing room, and the note I wrote to Fofo was gone, disappeared. Somebody had taken it out of my wastebasket.
You wanted me to find out who and get the letter back, huh?
Yes, whoever had that note could murder Fofo and use it to put the blame on you.
And I don't know who that could be. I don't know the people around here yet, but Fofo's so popular, I can't imagine anyone else wanting to use that letter.
I would kill him any day of the week.
What? Otto.
The show must go on, but somebody else can lead the band, eh? I wanted to find you, my child. Relita, she will be all upset, I said to myself.
Otto, what did you mean? You said you'd killed Fofo?
Who are these people?
Miss Brooks, Mr. Valentine. He's sort of a detective.
Well, naturally, I would expect that.
Relita was just telling us that she doesn't have many friends around the circus yet.
So, she has me and my brother, too, the boy, Freddie. Have you seen where he is, Relita?
No, I haven't, but what did you mean
Sure,
when...
come on, let's have it. Why would you kill Fofo?
Everybody knows that. My foot. You see? I didn't always toodle on an oboe and wave batons in a striped coat. I was on the wire. Otto the Magnificent. Yeah. So one day I fell and was injured. But Fofo, you think he would help pay my 2 years of hospital bills, the way the law says?
Then why did you come back to his circus?
Why not? Perhaps to kill Fofo. I don't know. But neither does Fofo. That's what makes it interesting.
Oh, Otto, stop it. You shouldn't say things like that.
You are very mixed up, my child. And very innocent.
And you're trying to tell her that nobody likes Fofo, check?
Liked. Past tense. He was popular because he always liked to have around him the people who hated him. If this makes no sense, why try to understand that he's dead, isn't he?
Yeah, practically. Killed by an elephant.
Otto, is that true? That there were others besides me? Then that letter I wrote isn't so important at all, is it, Mr. Valentine?
Everybody hated him. Even my little brother Freddie, the sweetest boy in the world. And a good entertainer, too, but out of a job. You think Fofo would give him work? No, Fofo laughs. He thinks it is funny I should have to support my brother.
Skip it, Otto. What about the man who was with the elephant?
What?
The one walking alongside when it happened in there, trainer, whatever he is.
His name is Boxer. Well, I don't know. But he probably hates Fofo, too.
Okay, thanks. You've covered up enough for Relita.
What?
George, where are you going?
Well, I'll start with the snakes, I guess.
Here. Down this way, I guess.
You sure that snake is locked up tight in that box?
What, Susie here? Don't you worry about her, mister. Not a fang in the circus, didn't you know that? Harmless as a 10-foot piece of garden hose or a regatta snake.
Yeah, well, never mind showing me. Just keep the lid shut, huh, will you?
Sure, all right. Some people don't like snakes, I guess. Me, I kept him in my bathtub at home ever since I was a kid, and he hide him.
That him over there?
Yeah, there he is. Got them all chained up separate.
Well, that's the sheriff's work.
Poor old Emir. You know that elephant's been with us almost 5 years. Oh, hello, Boxer. Me is all. It's him.
I'm George Valentine.
Oh, yeah. Sheriff sent word. Snooping, huh?
No, not exactly.
Boy, look at the change they got on him. No, what's the matter, baby? They got you
all right. Show 'em the snakes. That's what you come down here for, ain't it?
Sure, Boxer. Take it easy. All right, there we go, Susie. Don't eat up all his hay now.
Wait a minute now. Better not let that snake get so close to his trunk, had you?
Look, Mr. Valentine, the Amy here wouldn't care if a snake crawled up his trunk.
Okay. Hey, look, get her out of here, will you? That's good, thanks.
You're welcome. All right, Susie, off we go. Back to bed. That's it.
So it wasn't the snake, huh?
Come here, Mr. Valentine. Don't be afraid. The Amy won't step on you. Ah, boy. Give me your ear, boy. That's it. Here, look.
What's that? Bunch of brands?
Same idea, only you mark the ear. See? Double X, that's one circus. Triangle, that's another. Crossed lances, little crown, that's for digging trees up for some Maharaja.
Yeah, a whole string of them. In other words, the Amy has been through the wars, huh?
He's older than you or I or anybody else around here. Been everywhere and done everything. And Mr. Valentine never once has he caused a bit of trouble. A freight train couldn't make him nervous or jumpy.
Then what did?
I don't know.
Suppose somebody put a lighted cigarette to his ear.
Well...
Suppose that stick you carry just happened to poke him at the right time.
There was only me and the girl on top near him. Nobody did nothing like that.
Well, if he's such a peaceful elephant, then how do you explain his actions?
Maybe you don't explain it. Animals are funny, Mr. Valentine.
Sure, I know. An elephant never forgets. So maybe he didn't like Fofo either, huh?
Don't be ridiculous.
All right, then what happened? Something sent the Amy off.
George?
Yeah, Brooksy, out here. I'm just trying
Come
to...
here, quick.
Huh?
Here. Over here, George.
Well, what's happened? You here from the hospital?
Yes, but here he is.
Well, this is Mr. Valentine.
Oh, that's right. Who are you?
George, it's Fofo.
Yes, of course it's me. A quick recovery, wasn't it? I think I have 9 lives.
Oh, now, wait a minute.
Fofo! What happened? What are you doing here?
Now, hello, Otto. Relita? Well, don't all stand there as though I were a ghost or something. I've been down to the hospital. I was in town. I heard on the radio what happened.
George, he died. The sheriff just called.
Wait. I don't understand.
Oh, I get it. Somebody else was doing your act for you. All that clown makeup and costume,
Yes. But Otto, I'm so terribly sorry. Only you yourself kept asking me to give Freddy a chance.
Freddy?
Otto. Poor fellow. He loved his younger brother a great deal, and he wanted him to work so badly. It's really his fault, I suppose, that Freddy is dead, no? Well, it couldn't be anyone else's fault, could it?
August 13th, 1951, Let George Do It on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Whether you're taking your pets on the road or a walk around the block, you need to be aware of heat stroke. Hi, I am Dr. Jose Arce, immediate past president of the American Veterinary Medical Association. It's important that pets get out and enjoy the warm weather and fresh air, but here are some reminders to help keep your pets safe in the heat. Tune into the day's forecast to see how hot it will be. Limit exercise on hot days or schedule walks earlier or later on the day when it's cooler. If outside, stay on the grass instead of the hot pavement. Make sure your pet has unlimited fresh water and access to shade. Never leave your pet in a closed vehicle, and leave your pet at home in air conditioning when you go out. If you see signs of heat strokes in your pet, such as excessive panting, drooling, unsteadiness, or abnormal gum and tongue color, call your veterinarian or nearest emergency clinic. For more info on summer pet safety, visit avma.org. That's avma.org.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, more of Let George Do It. Bob Bailey and Virginia-Gregg star from August 13th, 1951, The Fearless Clown.
back to George Valentine. Fofo, the fearless clown, seems to be a man with 9 lives, because it never occurred to you or the other 1,000 people who saw an elephant suddenly run berserk and trample him that the man under all that makeup wasn't Fofo. No, it was really a boy named Freddie who only wanted a job with Fofo's circus. Well, now Freddie is dead, and if your name is George Valentine, you go down to the hospital to make sure of your facts this time.
Of course it was Freddie. Who else would it be? He spoke to them, the doctor said. Did you hear what that doctor with the glasses said?
Freddie didn't say anything, Otto. He couldn't help any.
No. How could a poor boy know who killed him?
Otto, snap out of it, will you please? I know how much you loved your brother, but what's done is done.
Yes.
Besides, what do you mean, know who killed him?
Did I say that? Well, why not? Fofo killed him.
How do you figure that?
Look, closing time. All around us, people going home. But for the circus, time off, that's all. 2 hours between afternoon and night performances. Freddie liked the night performance best.
Look, Otto, I asked you why Fofo would kill your brother.
I don't know.
You mean because Fofo so gratuitously took this afternoon off? So accidentally put your brother in his place?
It was a new performance.
Yeah, that's what the big man told Miss Brooks. New lights, new costumes, new music, the works. Fofo wanted to drag some publicity men from downtown to watch with him from out front for a change.
That's what he told Miss Brooks.
You think it's a lie?
Everything he does is a lie.
Okay, prove it.
I can't. And Mr. Valentine, you will waste your time forever if you try to. You can't always win, so...
All right, wait a minute. Come on, hop in. I'll drive you back to the grounds.
No, it is closing time for me, too.
Well, where are you going?
I will walk back through the park, I think. Go, I'll see you later. I'm not young enough to just walk out on a job. All I mean is for me, it is awful. I will stop trying to say Fofo is evil. I will let you waste your time.
This his dressing room?
In the railroad car, George. It's the drawing room.
Oh, yeah. Nice way to live. Sure he's gone?
It's through the office part, they said.
Oh, yeah, here we are. Keep out, private, do not disturb. Nice friendly sort of guy.
George, wait.
Well, Mr. Valentine, you're snooping, huh? Perhaps you came to steal something, huh?
Yeah, maybe I did, Fofo. A letter.
Uh-huh. A letter? Let me see. You represent Relita, don't you?
So, I guess I might as well start looking, huh? Where is it, the desk?
You know, I like you. You are very shrewd.
Now, look, Buster, she wrote a letter. It explained what kind of a guy you are.
And why she would like to kill me.
So the letter disappears. Somebody stole it. It doesn't take much shrewdness to figure you're the boy who took it.
Relita is very young. She needed to be taught a lesson.
She's already learned it. Stay away from clowns. But I suppose you got a lot of fun out of scaring her to death.
Now, here. You may have it. It has served its purpose.
Thanks a lot. Fofo, you enjoy things like this, don't you? What this guy Otto says about you is true.
I think we can skip the psychoanalysis, yeah? Otto's stupid. He would never be able to do anything about the way he feels.
I might.
Sit down, Valentine. You know, you advertise for danger. You're the kind of man I've always wanted to meet.
Oh, no thanks, Buster. My job's finished.
What?
Yeah, the reason I was hired, at least. So now the coast's clear to solve a murder, isn't it? And right now, I'd rather hear what Boxer has to say.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now. Here, hold the flashlight a minute.
Well, maybe Fofo let it slip, but he mentioned you were claiming the aimer wasn't to blame today.
I know. And earlier I said I couldn't see how anybody could have made the aimer do it. I still don't.
But you say one of the men heard someone out here.
That's right, Miss Brooks. 2 nights ago. Roustabout says the aimer was snorting around. Sure. Of course, I told Fofo. But you think he'd be interested if it was murder? You think he'd do anything but laugh over it?
All right, skip it, Boxer. Just what happened 2 nights ago?
Well, this roustabout was waked up by the aimer. Came over to see what was the matter. Sure, there was a man here. But he disappeared before he could get a look. Didn't report it. Didn't think it was important until today.
George, look. It's a sliver. Thin little sliver of wood.
What?
Looks like a chip from the sawdust. Let's see what it looks
No,
like.
wait a minute, look out. It's broken already. Polished white wood. That's not sawdust.
Well, maybe it's sharp. But that's nothing you're going to hurt an elephant with either. Here, I'll show you how tough the Amos skin is.
Don't poke him.
If you thinks that was what was riling him up, when you got another thing
Wait a
coming.
minute, hold it. Now, you listen to me. Boxer, what would happen if you took the elephant here back into the main tent? The way he was when he tore loose this afternoon when the accident happened.
I don't get you.
Could you guarantee to the sheriff to have enough chains or enough men to keep him under control?
Sure.
All right, the tent's empty now. It's between shows. Everybody's available.
George, what do you want to do?
Little reconstruction, Brooksy. It just occurred to me that the only one who can solve this crime in a hurry is the aimer himself. You all set, Otto?
You want everything the same. All right, all right. Start your silliness.
Old Sourpuss himself, where have you been?
I'm back, aren't I? I guess, Mr. Valentine, I've been thinking about what Fofo should think about. How you can't always win.
From August 13th, 1951, Let George Do It on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. The conclusion, and yours truly, Johnny Dollar, next.
You ever make a change and then think, why didn't I do this years ago? Well, that's how people feel about switching to Medishare for their health care, especially now with inflation the way it is. People are very happy with the savings. Most families save about $500 a month when they switch. It's a huge help when prices are going up so fast in so many other areas. And Medishare's customer satisfaction rate is double that of health insurance. It's just a different experience, and people really like that. Medishare is an alternative to health insurance. It's a community of Christians who share each other's healthcare bills, and it's been going strong for over 25 years. It really is the gold standard, the most trusted name in healthcare sharing. Find out why people love it, find out why they rave about the customer service, and find out how good it feels to save some money right now. They're super easy to talk to. Here's the number, 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE, 833-34-BIBLE.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of Let George Do It. August 13th, 1951, The Fearless Clown.
But you will never teach him.
What do you mean?
All right, let's get this parade going. Come on, you know the Sourpuss, he plays bad music anyway.
Why aren't you ready to walk through this thing, Fofo? Haven't even brought your snake box in yet. Haven't even started a somersault.
No, I will do my part. Don't worry, I'm not afraid.
Oh, skip it. It's because you know I don't need to go through with it, isn't it?
Is it?
Sure. It's because you know I've already got the answer.
Have you?
Yeah. On the way back from the hospital, I stopped to pick up a book on elephants. Take the aimer here. He's been through the wars, hasn't he?
No, that band is making so much noise.
Oh, you're with me, all right. But here, look. The brand marks on the aimer's ear.
Boxer, give me the stick there.
Well, don't you want me to lead him around like I did?
No, I take him. I can handle him. Well, give it to me, I said.
Well, sure, boss.
Never mind. Here, take a look. 3 X's. That's a circus. A crown. Boxer says he must have pulled up trees for a Maharaja once. Cross lances. Well, in India, that was the best job an elephant could get, wasn't it? Only goes to the biggest and finest. Battle elephant.
You are the expert, not me. I suppose the lances might mean that. What are you driving at?
The aimer's memory. Something way back in his training. Something he'd do on the right command, automatically, fast as lightning. Practically a reflex action.
Yeah, well, go on.
What's up, Valentine?
Oh, let's get this over with, Sheriff. I don't like it. Otto, stop that music. Hey, Otto, stop it.
What's the matter?
Okay, now. Play the same tune you played this afternoon.
What? But I have told you, everything is the same as
Opening
it was.
performance of the new show was this afternoon. Sure, that's right. Everything was new, even costumes and music. So play that same march.
Sure, I told you it was different, Otto.
Yes, go on, Otto. You write the music, play it. Mr. Valentine wants everything the same, unless you are afraid to.
Be quiet, will you? Otto, your instrument, I remember, is an oboe, a reed instrument. Well, is this white sliver of wood yours? It's a broken reed.
What?
Somebody dropped it the other night, doing something that made the aimer get all excited. Playing softly in his ear, maybe. Testing a composition, maybe.
I don't understand at all.
Yes, you do. You're wasting time. Come on, boys, you don't need a leader. Play Otto's same arrangement you did this afternoon.
Wait!
Let her go. Here we are, Valentine. The Emir and I.
What's the matter, Otto? The Emir here is really harmless. But if a man were turning somersaults in front of him and suddenly some horns started blaring out...
Wait! No, Mr. Valentine. Wait, boys!
I don't know the notes, but something deep in the elephant's memory, maybe. Battle elephant. And I suppose there must be a call for charge. At least that's what they use battle elephants for.
Stop it! Stop that music! Stop it! Stop it! All right. I am the one you want.
Imagine trying to kill me? He's tried it before, but that's what his scheme was.
Oh, he had good enough reason, I guess.
No, but the irony of it, Mr. Valentine, he worked up such a beautiful way to kill me. I always told him he was never smart enough. And then his plan backfired so tragically. No wonder he fainted when I told him his brother had taken my place.
Uh-huh. Well, I just talked to Otto back there. He won't say anything. But how can he? Because he can't really prove that you'd caught on to what his plan was, that you had his brother take your place on purpose.
Well, and can you prove it? No, of course not. So why talk about then, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Why talk about it?
George, let's get out of here.
Oh, leave me alone for a minute, will you, Angel? Don't you see? Fofo's right. I can't prove it.
Well, the aimer won't have to be shot now. That's one good thing come out of it.
Oh, sure, Boxer. And you can go right on having trouble with your boss, and Relita can still be practically blackmailed by the guy who's still got his eye on her.
Oh, George, stop beating yourself. There's nothing you can do about it. You said so yourself.
Yeah, sure. In fact, Otto told me that earlier, before he stumbled off to walk in the park. Said I'd waste my time forever if I tried to get back at Fofo. You can't always win, he said.
Yeah, poor Otto wasn't bright enough to get rid of Fofo.
And I came along, so he never got another chance at him. Maybe I don't mean that, I don't know. Well, on with the show.
Sure. Listen to them in there. In a couple of minutes, the fearless fraud will come galloping in with his little suitcase, opening the parade. And the people will scream and clap their hands for him and the snake with false teeth and his somersaults in front of the Emir.
So we don't like the way it ends, Brooksy. Hey, there's a police car come back to meet us, I guess. Come on, let's go. Only...
What's the matter?
Otto said a couple of funny things. And it was odd his not being willing to talk about anything after he confessed.
What?
In fact, it was funny he didn't confess earlier. The shock of finding he'd been responsible for killing his brother and all.
What are you talking about?
That policeman getting out of the car is a funny cab. Made me remember Otto's wanting to go to the park, that's all, then showing up later.
Mr. Valentine, this guy's from the park.
Yeah, so I noticed. City Park Zoo.
We need help fast. Along about closing time, somebody broke into the snake house at the zoo. And, buddy, our snakes aren't amateurs. Our biggest cobra is missing.
You have just heard The Fearless Clown, another Let George Do It adventure. Robert Bailey was starred as George Valentine, with Virginia-Gregg as Brooksy. David Victor and Jackson Gillis wrote the story, and the music was by Eddie Dunstetter. Now, this is yours truly inviting you to another visit with Valentine, when you will again hear what happens when you let George do it.
August 13th, 1951, Let George Do It on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we go from Bob Bailey as George Valentine to Bob Bailey as Johnny Dollar. We start a brand new yours truly Johnny Dollar story, The Crystal Lake Cabin Matter. This part 1 was originally broadcast August 13th, 1956.
From Hollywood, it's time now for...
Johnny Dollar.
Tom Wilkins of Amalgamated Life, Johnny.
Oh, hi, Tom. What's up?
Well, at the moment, $50,000 worth of life insurance.
Oh?
Yeah, we got a policy for that amount on the life of one Edward Russell.
Russell. Never heard of him.
That's just the trouble, Johnny. Right now, nobody else has either. 3 days ago, his wife, Leona, over in Denver, filed a missing persons report.
She the beneficiary?
Right.
So what do you want from me?
Find out what happened to him.
Well, how do you know anything did? Maybe he just walked out on his wife.
Now, from what I can gather, Russell was a hothead. Could be he had one argument too many.
It still could be just a guy getting away for a while.
Huh? And why would he abandon his car in his storage garage in Colorado Springs?
Oh.
Yeah. It turned up this morning with part of his luggage in it. Interested?
I'm on my way.
Tonight and every weekday night, Bob Bailey in the transcribed adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to Amalgamated Life Associates, Home Office, Hartford, Connecticut. Following is an accounting of expenses incurred during my investigation of the Crystal Lake matter. Expense account item 1, $120.50 plane fare and incidentals to Denver. Tom Wilkins hadn't given me much to go on, so I figured the logical place to start was with the missing man's wife, Leona Russell. Their house was in a moderately prosperous suburb of Denver, a white ranch house with a shake roof. Everything looked neat and well kept. But somehow a forlorn feeling came through to me about the place. Then the door opened. And right away I was sure something pretty bad had happened to Edward Russell. You don't just walk out on a wife who looked like that.
Yes.
Mrs. Leona Russell?
Yes.
I'm Johnny Dollar, insurance investigator.
Oh, yes, Mr. Dollar. Mr. Wilkins sent a telegram about you. Won't you come in?
Thanks. Cooler in here.
I try to keep the house shut up during the day. It helps. Please sit down.
Oh, thank you.
I've already told the police what little there was to tell when I filed the missing persons report.
Oh, sure. This is just a routine investigation, Mrs. Russell. You probably don't feel too much like talking about it, but if you wouldn't mind going over what information there is again.
Well, it was just a week ago that Mr. Russell left.
You were here when he left?
Yes. He told me he was driving up to Boulder on business, that he'd only be gone overnight.
Oh, what sort of business is he in?
He's in real estate.
Boulder, huh? But his car was found in Colorado Springs.
I know. I can't explain that. When he didn't come home on time, I got worried. I'd call the hotel in Boulder. He never checked in there.
Yes, I see. Did he know anyone in Colorado Springs?
Just business contacts, as far as I know. He might have decided to go there instead of Boulder, but he would have called me.
But he didn't.
No. I haven't heard a thing from him since he drove away from here a week ago.
Mrs. Russell, do you happen to know if your husband had any, enemies?
No. Ed was pretty impulsive, you might even say hot-headed, but I just can't believe that anyone would hate him enough to do anything to him.
Well, we don't know that anyone has.
I know. It's funny, the things that run through your mind at a time like this.
Uh-huh. What sort of things?
It sounds funny, but I've almost been wishing it was an accident or something like that. In a hospital where he might not have a chance to call me, but at least was safe and alive.
You've checked the hospitals?
All of them. I did that before I filed the missing persons report.
Tell me, had your husband been unusually depressed before he left?
If you're suggesting that Ed did away with himself, that's just not possible, Mr. Dollar. That's one thing he'd never do. He just wasn't built that way.
Mm-hmm. Everything was fine between you two.
Yes. Of course, we'd had disagreements, arguments in the 6 years we've been married. Who hasn't? But nothing serious. I guess I'm not being very helpful to you, Mr. Dollar.
Well, I'm sure that's not your fault. You've no idea at all where he could be, then, or what could have happened?
No. None at all. Except...
Except what?
Well, I don't know if it means anything or not, but I found this under some of Bill's papers on his desk just this morning.
Travel folder. Crystal Lake. Where's that?
It's a resort up in the mountains. As I say, I don't know whether it means anything or not.
Has he ever been there before?
Not that I know of.
Or mentioned it to you?
No, I don't. I'm sure he hasn't.
Well, I'll check it out. Thanks, Mrs. Russell. Oh, just one more thing.
Yes?
You're the beneficiary of his life insurance policy?
Yes. I know what you're thinking, Mr. Dollar.
I'm not thinking anything. I'm just asking questions. It's my job.
I know. But let me ask you a question, Mr. Dollar. Do you think $50,000 or any amount of money could possibly make up for Ed?
One thing about my job, you have to ask such nice questions sometimes. After Leona Russell's answer, there didn't seem to be much left to say, so I told her I'd let her know if I found out anything, and I left. I looked at the travel folder again. Crystal Lake. Pretty slim lead. But when you have nothing to go on, anything at all looks promising. Expense account item 2, $45.20. I rented a car and drove to Crystal Lake. It was a beautiful spot. 7,000 feet high, clean, thin air, fragrant pines, and the clearest water this side of the Jackson Hole country. I parked a moment and looked out over the lake. Oh, great place to drop a hook. But I had a strong hunch that the fishing I'd be doing was of a little different variety. One thing was obvious. There was a lot of money up here. Most of the cabins would be insulted to be called cabins and had their own boat landings. The village was nestled at one end of the lake, a colorful collection of Swiss chalets. I headed for the office of the local law, a deputy sheriff named Ansel Garrett. Tall, thin, raw-boned lad in his early 30s who looked like he'd spent all but the first few hours of his life in the open. Clear, keen eyes that showed he had his wits about him.
Have a seat, Dollar.
Thanks.
Edward Russell, you said.
Yeah, that's right. Disappeared about a week ago. Left home in Denver, hasn't been heard from since.
So?
So he could have come here. His wife found a travel folder about Crystal Lake in his papers.
That's supposed to prove something?
No, it doesn't prove anything, Ants, but it's my only lead. Here, take a look at this picture. You recognize him?
Yeah, looks sort of familiar.
You've seen him up here at Crystal Lake?
Yeah, I think so. 4 or 5 days ago.
Well, what do you know? Looks like my luck's changing. I hit the jackpot on my first nickel.
Well, it depends on what jackpot you're talking about, Johnny.
What do you mean?
Well, for one thing, I could be wrong about the identification.
I'd guess you haven't been wrong about many of them in your time.
Suppose he was the guy, so what? Why are you looking for him, anyway?
Mainly to find out if he's still alive.
What makes you think he's not?
Nothing definite, but a hunch that's getting stronger by the minute.
Oh? Insurance investigators are operating on hunches these days, huh?
Once in a while. Just like Deputy Sheriff says.
All right. So hunches sometimes do pan out. But you could be way out in the pasture, Johnny. Maybe the guy just had an argument with his wife and he walked out on her.
Oh, sure, yeah, I thought of that. But then I saw his wife. Nobody in his right mind would walk out on her.
Like that, huh?
Like that. Look, Ants, can you give me any dope on this guy?
No, not much. He came to see me about 5 days ago.
Why?
Mainly to ask me a silly question.
Silly?
Yeah. He asked me if there was a guy named Bill around Crystal Lake somewhere.
Oh, I take it there's more than one.
Yeah, fistful, Johnny. Bill Cullen, who tends bar at the hotel. Bill Jensen, who runs the boathouse. Bill Pickens, who clerks at the hardware.
Yeah, okay, I get the idea. I take it Russell didn't know which Bill he wanted, huh?
Nope.
Well, at least I know he was here at Crystal Lake now. You haven't seen him since, huh?
Yeah, just once.
Oh?
That same night. He was in the bar at the hotel talking to Betty Norton.
Who's she?
Heiress to the Norton estate. Mining. She's got a big place on the other side of the lake near Lookout Point.
Know anything about her?
Phew, all I want to.
Oh.
She travels at a pretty good clip.
I see. Well, thanks for the information, Ants.
Yeah, what are you going to do now?
Try to find Edward Russell. Alive or otherwise.
That hunch of yours still operating?
It hasn't gotten any weaker.
Oh, just one thing, Johnny. This is a pretty high-grade resort here. Things are nice and peaceful. I like to keep it that way.
Sure.
So don't go off half-cocked, huh?
For instance?
For instance, don't start accusing anybody of murder unless or until you find a body.
And if I do find a body?
Oh, then looks like we'll have to start doing a little accusing.
I left Ansel Garrett's office and walked around the village. All I knew so far was that Edward Russell, or somebody who looked like him, had been in Crystal Lake several days ago, inquiring about a man named Bill, and that he'd been at the bar with a dough-heavy girl named Betty Norton. There were a flock of Bills in town, but there was only one, Betty Norton, so I decided to start with her. I drove around the lake to her home, an elaborate lodge-type place that sprawled along the shore. Betty was down on her boat dock in a bathing suit, and she was a pretty elaborate-looking job herself.
I was just going for a swim. Come on, join me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Norton. I'm not equipped at the moment.
Oh, there's some trunks in the dressing room.
Yeah, well, look, I'd like to talk to you about something,
But I don't feel like talking right now. I feel like swimming.
But this is important. It's about...
So is swimming. If you want to talk to me, you've got to go swimming first.
Okay, we'll play it your way.
That's the only way I ever play it, Mr. Dollar.
So we went swimming, and I swam hard, but mainly to keep from freezing to death. The water should have been in cubes by the feel of it, but Betty seemed to think it was normal. After a while, we climbed back onto the landing.
Wonderful, huh? Here's a towel.
Oh, it's great, sure. Only about 20 degrees too cold.
Makes the sun feel better. Hot and cold, Johnny. Contrast. That's what puts the charge in life.
Is it? I wouldn't know. Hey, look, do you mind now if I ask you a couple of questions?
Go ahead.
You know a man named Edward Russell?
I don't think so.
I think you do. You had a drink with him at the hotel several nights ago.
So this I do once in a while. Am I supposed to remember all of them?
This one might have mentioned he was looking for a guy named Bill.
Oh, I remember now. He thought the bartender might be the one he was looking for, Bill Collins.
So what happened?
How should I know? I left.
You haven't seen Russell since?
Nope. Haven't missed him either.
Oh, great. And for this kind of information, I practically freeze to death in the ice trough you laughingly call a lake.
Maybe your trip wasn't a waste of time after all, Johnny.
No.
We met.
Well,
What do you do with your spare time?
Well, A, I don't expect to have much, and B, isn't that sort of a leading question?
I'm pretty good at leading.
You must have trouble finding guys to dance with, huh?
Why don't you try it sometime? Huh?
I left on that, feeling like a fly who spotted the web at the last moment. And right now I was feeling just about as useless as a fly, too. I wasn't getting even close to locating Edward Russell. I went back to my room and the phone was ringing. Johnny Dollar.
Yeah, it's Garrett, Johnny, Sheriff's Office.
Oh, hi.
Well, you can quit looking for Russell. We found him.
Well, that's good news.
Is it? He's dead.
Now here's our star to tell you about tomorrow's episode of this week's story.
Tomorrow, a cabin with a lovely view of a beautiful lake. A nice, comfortable, quiet spot for murder. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
From August 13th, 1956, yours truly, Johnny Dollar, here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thank you so much for tuning in. Visit my webpage, classicradio.stream, where you can stream our shows on demand, learn more about classic radio collecting. You can contact me there. You can find all of our social media links. And if you like what we do here, you can buy me a copy. That helps us to expand our library. Thank this station, support their advertisers, tell your friends. The great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.